How you doing, folks? And welcome to video 3 in my series of videos about my journey on learning the Irish language. And this video is going to be mainly about the Duolingo app and what I think of it, if it's any good. What I'm going to also try and do is to pibber. I'm going to try and pibber my speech with a couple of focal, so some words as Gaeilge. So I'm gonna try and do that if I think of it. The thing I find with learning the Irish language is that I have a lot of words now. My vocabulary has expanded quite a bit, and agus, it's remembering to use them and then kind of pepper them into your conversation as much as possible. So hopefully I remember to do that today in you, and that I don't forget. I'm not sure. So I might look up. So let me see. So what I might do is look up the. So what's forget in Irish? Oops. Forget. Jan Dermot. See, that's quite different from English. Jan Dermot. Forget. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm going to try and use the Irish language, as I said. Okay, so short, as always with these videos, I'm going to break it into two parts. I'm going to have a quick, snappy kind of version, and then a long discussionary piece around my thoughts and so on, and what people think of it. Okay, so short version of Duolingo. So initially I used the free version of the app, and the way it works is that it relies on ad revenue. So you have to watch a certain amount of ads, and then you're given free access to the program. I liked it. I initially did like it. I thought Duolingo and the way it was set up was going to be more around a kids version, but I actually did like it immediately. It has, and I'll show this in the longer version. There's discs that have the information within it, the levels that you follow, and you as you progress through them, you basically fill in these discs. So that's that. 5 hearts. You're given 5 hearts, and when you lose all hearts, you have to watch a couple of ads. And the hearts are renewed daily. So each day you get 5 new hearts, whether you watch an ad or not. I found the ad version quite frustrating, in that just as you kind of were getting into your flow, the ads you might lose all your hearts, and then you'd have to watch some ads. So I found it quite frustrating, and I moved to the paid version. And the paid version is, I think it's €89 a year is what I paid. I think the free version, the ad version, the free version, I think it is harder, and I think it is deliberately designed to be more difficult than the paid version. I'm convinced of that. I do really like the paid version. I do like working with it. You need to watch when you're subscribing to the paid version. You need to be conscious of not making the same mistake that I made, in that they give you an option to pay monthly, or what you can pay is annually. But the way it's designed, it's kind of tricky. I accidentally subscribed for a year thinking I was paying monthly, and then I got a bill for €89. So it's just a little bit tricky, just to make sure that you don't make that mistake that I made. It encourages gameplay, but I think it could be a problem for people maybe who gamble, because what they do is they offer you additional things at a cost. So there's in-app purchase that you can make, but they're designed, they kind of appeal to your competitive nature, and there's a timing aspect of it. And I feel that that's not me at all. They wouldn't appeal to me in any way at all. But I think if you are anyway prone to maybe gambling or anything like that, I think you could be in trouble with that, because you could probably end up spending a lot of money on top of the €90. It also has a streak element to it, in that what they try to do is they try to get you using it every day, and on some level what they do is they reward you. They make you feel better for using it every day, as you kind of keep this continued streak going. And I've seen people on the internet or people on YouTube who have like 1,000-day or 3-year streak that they've never broken. So that's basically it in a nutshell. It is good. I do use it every day, and I would recommend the Duolingo app. I'm not using any Irish at all. See that? I'm not using any Gaelga. It's just gone out of my head. So the conversational piece now, I'll move on to the longer piece. And what do I think of it? Okay. So I'm going to show you, if you want to, I'm not really going to go into too much depth of the actual structure of the app. I'd recommend the best thing to do is probably download it because it is free, and then watch a few ads and play with it. And that's the best way. That's the best way you'll see whether you'd like it or not. And then there's probably plenty of videos on YouTube with people go into a lot more detail. But generally speaking, that's what it looks like on your on my iPad here. So you can see there the various discs. So what I do is each of those has like 5 levels. Each one of those discs has 5 levels. And what you do, you just basically answer the questions that you go into it. Now I haven't played it today, so I don't think it's going to let me. So I don't want to go touching it. But you can see some of them after a certain period of time. Just going to see some of them are shattered. So you can see the discs. That's why I kind of call them like discs or plates or something like that. So if you don't practice the disc, what the disc does is the disc shatters, and I think it slowly but surely reverts back, and then you have to build it. So my strategy each day is to go in and repair each of these discs, and that's a good way of practicing it. And then what I do then is I move down. So this is the one I'm currently on. So this is prepositions. So what I'm working on here. So when you've answered the various levels of what you do is you basically finish that task and another disc. So you see these discs are grayed out. You see, so there's quite a lot to it. It goes all the way down. So I still have quite a bit to go. And my streak at this stage now, it doesn't tell me here. Oh, 84. So I'm using it now for the last 84 days. And to be honest, if you said to me how long was I using it for, I wouldn't have said 84 days. But I do find it very good. It is very enjoyable. And up here it has like that I'm learning Irish and I have 109 crowns, 84 days. You can see there's a little blue heart and it means that it's infinity. So if you were using the paid version, you'd have a little red heart and it would tell you how many hearts you have. So you can only have 5 hearts at any one time. And then every time you make a mistake, you lose a heart. And what you have to do then is watch an ad. Or like I said, if you don't play it for the day, your hearts are renewed. So it is good. You can have your profile in here and there's leagues and so on. I'm in the Diamond League. So really what you do is as you play, and if you remain within the top 10 of each of the leagues, you basically are promoted each week, and then you go up to the Diamond League. And then if you don't play the game, what you start to do is you start to drop down in the levels. And so, I don't know. I play it every day because I'm on a mission to learn Irish. So that's the thing. So again, it is good. It's very easy to use. The interface is it looks like a kid's game, to be honest. But it is very good. Now let me see if I click on one of them, will I get any questions or if I haven't for the day. So there. That's what happens. That little man pops up, or a little woman will pop up. And what they're saying is, Cerda Ihinche. So then what you have to do is you have down here, you have in English various words here, and what you have to do is basically fill in what each of the words are. Cerda Ihinche. So I think it's what did he eat? What does he eat? So let's see. If I do what does he eat? So I got it right. Okay, what does he eat? And then what they'll do then is they might ask you it in English, or so they play around with the format, and then as you move around each one of them, it gets progressively more and more difficult. But it does work. It does work. I have to say, I find it very good. So let's see what very good is. I think it's like on what? Let's see. Very on good. On what? On what? So cancel that. Now, so what else do I have? Okay. That's basically Duolingo kind of covered. So just on how my progression is going at the moment. So something I have to admit, which is kind of interesting. I have been watching lots of YouTube videos and various programs and something like that. And I have to say, I find listening to, especially women, right? I find there's something about it. When women are speaking in Irish, I just find it very alluring. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about listening to, like if you're watching TG Cahir things like that. That there's just something about Irish women speaking in Irish. I don't know what it is. It just really, I just could sit and listen to it all day long. I find it very, very interesting. I'm sure men sound equally well as well, but there's just something about, I don't know what it is. It's quite a sexy language, I think. Anyway, it just sounds, there's something guttural about it, and kind of it just sounds so full and rich, and it's so easy for me to listen to. But I just think I could sit and listen to these women talking in Irish all day. It's an unexpected side effect or benefit that I've gotten. So where am I now with Rosetta Stone? I've completed Rosetta Stone, and I'm going back over the work that I've done. I'm actually quite surprised that I have finished Rosetta Stone so quickly. I got Rosetta Stone and Duolingo at roughly the same time, so that means it's taken me 3 months to complete it. I think I think you're supposed to get it done in maybe 6 weeks, whatever it was. But I know I have it completed, and I'm going back over it. But so it's not as extensive as I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be more to Duolingo. There seems, not Duolingo, I think Rosetta Stone. There seems to be way more to Duolingo. So it's definitely, they're different, completely different formats altogether. But I was surprised that I got through Rosetta Stone so quickly. But I am going back over it, the whole thing again to practice the whole thing. So it's because I think you pay for the renewal quarterly. And that's not too cheap either. I'm going to say off the top of my head, I think it's something like 70 or 80 euro a quarter to use it. So it's not cheap. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back over the whole thing and then use it in my own way. And I think it is still, Rosetta Stone is excellent. And I'll go into a little bit more detail on that the next time as well. Something that I'm trying to do at the moment as well is to translate text. So there's within Rosetta Stone, they give you lots of little stories, but they're all Oscailga. And what I'm trying to do, let's see what story is. I think it's scale. Story. Scale, yeah. So scale. So what I'm trying to do is I read through them, and they're good. They're not incredibly difficult stories. You do get the gist if you recognize enough of the words. But what I'm actively doing now is translating them into English, and they've loads and loads and loads of stories within Rosetta Stone. So that's what my plan is. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down and type them all into English. The process is, what I do is I read the story and I translate a sentence at a time, and then I put that sentence into Google to translate, and I see what it comes up with. And if I'm close, then it's good. I knew what the sentence meant in Irish, and if it's wrong, then I'll be able to learn. But sometimes when I do know what the sentence is and I check it in Google Translate will come back with a different interpretation of it. And that's interesting as well, because it just shows to me that Irish, to be, or Gaeilge, to be fluent in it, that what you need to do is there's a level of interpretation there with regards to the language as well that I'm learning, which is quite interesting. And I also used folklore. I used was it Changlin.ie. So I enter words into there that I don't know. So it translates. It won't do sentences. That's what Google Translate is good at. Google Translate will translate whole sentences, and it does quite a good job as well of getting the context right. Whereas Changlin.ie is only a dictionary, so it'll only do a word at a time, and you have to have the spelling correct and everything like that. But also what it does is it gives you the pronunciation of the words, because I do struggle with that a little bit as well. So I recommend, I'm just looking at it here now on the screen, I do recommend that you use it. So that's my process, because I think one of the ways that I'm going to personalize this journey is to, develop my own system. And I think translating will help me a lot. Translating, I might at some stage translate, say, maybe a short novel or something like that. Translate the whole thing and see how I get on. So what else have we got here? And a handy little resource that I came across on YouTube is a channel by a lady called Katherine OBrien. And she doesn't have too many videos up. I think there's only about 8 or 10 videos maybe on her channel, and she hasn't updated them anything too recently. They're a number of years old. But if you Google on YouTube Katherine OBrien Gaeilge, she will pop up. But she has some brilliant little videos on quail, a quail, and lahan, so with how Irish words are spelled. And I have to say, watching her few videos, I have learned more about the Irish language watching her videos than I did years and years and years in school. Now look, I'm not bashing the schools, but I think Irish is taught. It could be better, I think, how it is taught in schools. But also, I think I'm clearly up for the challenge now, where I wasn't when I was in secondary school. But Catherine's videos are excellent, and now when I'm reading, I'm much more conscious of the whole quail, a quail, and lahan with lahan. So that is quite interesting. But a strange thing I've noticed with my on this journey is that I seem to be able to spell instinctively better or more easily in Irish, as Gaeilge, than I can in Berla, which is English. I don't know. I don't understand what it is. Maybe it's genetic, but I just seem to be able to spell. Spelling words in Irish just seems to come quite naturally to me. I don't understand. And I noticed that there's actually words to this day that I still struggle to spell in English, but I seem to be naturally able to spell them in Irish. It's just an interesting thing. I don't know. It's a benefit. I'm not complaining. It's a good thing. Conran na Gaeilge, I'm coming up to the last class, so class number 10 is this week, and I've already signed up to do the next level. So I'm at beginners level 1, and I've signed up to do the next 10-week course, beginners level 2, which is in May. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I have been listening to TG Cahir. There's a lot. If you, TG Cahir have a YouTube channel, and there's loads of kids. I've said this before. There's loads of little kids videos on it, and I do listen to those. They're kind of cartoons and things like that. But again, what's very good about it is that because it's obviously 2 children, it's easy to digest, and the conversation is easy to follow. The story is easy to follow, but they use lots of little phrases within there that you can kind of learn from, which I think is quite interesting. So things like gajirach, like exactly, and like phrases kids would say that you can kind of go, okay, so that's how they say these things, and I hear them, and then they repeat them over and over within the video, and also you can watch the video over and over again, which is quite good. And I'm still listening to Sean Moore. I kind of dip in and dip out of Sean Moore's videos. And Sean Moore in one of the videos says that he's self-taught. He started to learn Irish at 19, and he spent then 2 to 3 years learning the language. So that kind of keeps in with my whole trying to learn Irish over the next 2 years. That's a recap of where I am now at the moment. I just think that it's just such an interesting process in how. So just interesting things about how you learn. So I'd be very familiar with the word galore, right? So people would use that word all the time in English, galore. So like, and just he would have, say, maybe talent galore or money galore, and we just use it without thinking about it. There's another word in ceart, and ceart in Irish means right, as in correct. You're right, but when you hear the thing saying ceart galore, right? So when someone says to you, how are you? So ceart galore, it's I'm okay. That's ceart galore. I was listening to a video, and this just goes to show how within your mind about how you learn language, which I thought was quite interesting. So I understand the word ceart in Rosetta Stone. One of the little stories that they have is there's a what I can presume to be a grandfather, and he looks into the fridge and he asks the question, who drank my juice? Or Sue or Rosh, the orange juice, and one of his grandkids says, I drank it, so he says tá tú ceart, right? That's his answer, tá tú ceart. And what he's saying to the kid is, you are right, or you're okay, presumably, right? Yeah, so tá tú right, or you're right to drink it. I don't fully know. I don't quite get the context. He's saying you are right, which is not something we'd say in English. But he might be saying you're right to drink it, or you're okay, or that's okay, or something like that. Okay, so I understand ceart means right, and then I'd understand the word galore. But then it was only when I was listening to somebody said something, and then they said ceart galore, and I went, oh, and I felt like something clicked in my mind, that it made the word ceart galore real in my mind for some reason, that it just seemed to click in my mind, and it made sense. But in the Conran and Gaelga lessons we have, because we do them at the moment online, and we were broken out into these breakout rooms, and I was in a room with two other students, two ladies that I'm not sure where they're from, but I'm going to say something like they were either Spanish or Portuguese or maybe Italian. They speak in English, but they have what I would describe as pleasant Mediterranean sounding accents. And one of the ladies, they were saying how difficult it was to learn Irish, that it is hard going. But I pointed out to them that it's amazing that what they find difficult is that to learn Irish, but they're learning Irish through English, which is a second language to them. So they're learning a second language through a learned language, which is, I think, is amazing. But then one of the women, she said that she remembers when she moved to Ireland, she didn't speak English. And then one day she walked out into a street in Dublin somewhere, and then she started to understand people speaking Oscailga, so in Irish. And I just thought that that was amazing, that how the mind works, that she was able to walk out into a street, a strad, and then suddenly start to understand Tiggin. She started to understand what people were saying. And I think the thing then is, by implication, she's looking forward to the day that she can actually do this in Irish, that she'll understand somebody. And I cannot wait for that day myself. So I just think it's just an interesting process to be doing these things. So that's really, I think that's the extent of for now of where I am with it. And what I'll do is I will I have nothing else to say. That's quite a lot. And what I'll do is, let's see what a lot is. I think I know what that is. A lot. Excuse me. Along. Okay. And this is what I'm doing. What I'm doing is, as I think of words, I do the translation. So see, a lot of people, Alon Dina. And it's just, it's just interesting. You learn these words, and hopefully what they'll do is they'll these fuckles, right? Hopefully what they'll do is they'll stick. What's stick? It'll probably give me, let's see if I say, what's sticky? Oh, sticky. Graim wa. Ach, graim wa. I can't. Graim wa. Ach. Iach. Graim wa iach. That's sticky. Okay. Let's see, sticky notes. No tea, green. Okay, you get the idea, right? Okay, so look, thanks very much for watching, and hope to see you soon. And again, thanks for the comments from the people who comment, and I look forward to sticking up another video soon enough. So thanks a million. Slán. Let's see, what's take care? I know. Take care. Tower Ira. You see, take care of yourself. Let's see, take care. Tower Ira dit fain. Tower. See, I think the thing is the GH's and B, is that Taver Ira dit fain. These are the things that I need to figure out. Okay, I'm definitely going. Slán.